Astrology is science. Astrology is why we call today Wednesday, why we're going to call tomorrow Thursday. Why we call today the 15th. You understand? Why there's 12 inches in a ruler. Why there's 12 hours on the clock between AM and PM. Why there are 12 disciples, 12 tribes of Israel. That's the science of astrology. So it's not a belief system for somebody to say, well, I believe in it, now I don't believe in it. You get what I'm saying? It is straight up science. All major world religions are based and rooted on this science. The thing is, they take away common sense from us. When you strip somebody of common sense, that's like stripping somebody of their birthright. Common sense is your birthright. When you strip away somebody's birthright or their ability to be able to comprehend something that's simple and then make them think that anything you're trying to interpret is complex, you're making somebody into a fool. And this is what they do in public school. Science is very small, it's very little complex. It's not that complex, it's simple. But they make it seem as though, for example, let's just step into law for a second. They'll make it seem as though you have to go to law school for, how many years is it, 10? Yeah. 10 years to know law. That's emphatically now cited, as we call it in the nation of God's earth. Meaning, that's emphatically no. You don't need to go to no law school for no 10 years to know law. The supreme law of the land is the Constitution. You can get the Constitution on 3 pages. Why do you need to go to school 10 years to learn 3 pages? You get what I'm saying? They don't teach, when they go to law school, they're not teaching them law. They teach them how to practice law. And within the guidelines of teaching them how to practice law, they're not teaching them the supreme law of the land. They're teaching them how to enforce bankruptcy, how to generate finances for a bankrupt corporation called U.S. So when you go to municipal court, you go to superior court, you're dealing with the IRS, etc. You're dealing with any of these bodies that fall under the jurisdiction of the U.S. You're dealing with entities that represent a bankrupt corporation. And the body of information that they're dealing with that's associated with practicing law or practicing medicine is only for the sole purpose to generate finances from the people. This is why they give you prescription drugs when you go to, they don't give you no cure for your ailment. They give you something to pacify whatever it is your ailment is. They don't cure it. They don't want to, they don't intend to, because they make a killing off of slinging drugs out of a pharmacy. Then they lock our people up for selling drugs on the corner. Shit. Weed has just as much healing properties as anything else. But they'll tell our people that it's illegal. And that even goes back in history to a science. You understand? The reason why is because they'd rather keep people sick so they keep coming. Just like if you, let's just say you were selling dope. You ain't trying to give your customers no remedy for them to get off of doing dope. They're your customers. You want them to keep coming to you. So what you do? Give them some more dope. This is what the doctors do. But they'll make it seem as though you gotta go to school for 10 years to practice law, to know law. So now, when anybody comes and makes an attempt to study any law, they'll run from, oh man, you gotta go to school 9 years just to know that. No, you don't. You can learn law in a matter of 3 months. That's how simple it is. It's so simple that the body of law that they deal with does not apply to you when you know who you are. When you know who you are on a spiritual level as well as on a political level, that body of so-called law, it's called color law, does not apply to you at all. So you don't even need to study all that nonsense that they've been studying. All you do is go back to the foundation, the root, which is what? The Constitution. Point blank period. When they start creating statutes and codes and all these things that they're making without your consent, without your say-so, without you voting for any of these people to be in the position that they're in, that's unconstitutional. it goes against the foundation of how this so-called government was established. This is why the bourgeoisie said enforce the Constitution. That's your salvation. Your salvation is enforcing the Constitution. You cannot enforce the Constitution talking about I'm a Negro. You cannot enforce the Constitution talking about I'm black. You can't enforce it talking about I'm African American. You must enforce that Constitution as a national because it don't protect nobody who lacks nationality. You understand? Islam.
Islam.
Yeah, Venus, and then we got next Mars, which rules Aries. Should be iron for that. Okay. Yeah, we'll be exalted in October. I'm gonna be exalted. Alchemy for that is iron.
So when you're exalted, it's like at the highest point.
At its highest point.
You have more energy
Yes.
to perform.
Yes. That means I'm acting fool in October. Yeah. On the podium. I might go hunt SETI down. I just watched SETI in Eileen Bay. Go at it. Principles that SETI was laying down in there was like, I mean, I agree with you on these principles because you dealing with a misconception of what the movement is. And, you know, various different temples and members of temples carry out those same misconceptions. So, I mean, hey, I can't even argue with you on that. But this is a movement at law. You get what I'm saying? This ain't no movement that's dealing with what our ancient forefathers did in Kemet. In a way it is. But mainly it's a movement at law. So when you sit there and hear us tell people that we ain't black, we talking about from a lawful perspective. If you want to call yourself that spiritual, then that's fine. You might as well call the so-called cracker that too. Because he got melanin. Every being has melanin. You can't survive without it. He just don't have it in abundance as we do. We have so much of it that it spills out to our bloodstream, which is what appears to give us shade. You understand? Now, mind you, this cat is high yellow. What he talking about? Black power. Nigga, you ain't black. This Spaz is black. My hair is black. The watch right here is black. Do it look like my skin? Come on, man. We running with these misconceptions that these Europeans laid down. Then you trying to accredit what Noble Drew Ali brought over here with the Ottoman Turks, which is correct. Absolutely. But then you might as well accredit you going to Kemet and getting bodies of information from Kemet the same way, because Arabs run Kemet. Same people that run Turkey. Same crackers. And they do have the body of information that we gave them, and they have been custodians of that truth. And I don't deny any part of what them brothers teach. We deal with all of that science. It's just that there's a misunderstanding as to why we say we're not black. We dealing with law and government now. There's no black nation. We already went over this. When we dealing with law and government, you dealing with nationality and birthrights, there ain't no damn black nation. Point blank period. It don't exist. There ain't no black flag. You go to Africa, there's several nations, and they don't even. I mean, you talking about Dr. Yusuf bin Yakinen, he will even tell you in his literature that Africa's original name is Aquilalon. You still want to call it Africa? After John or Scipio Africanus, a European who defeated one of our generals, Hannibal. and they named the continent after him. You get what I'm saying? This stuff goes on for centuries. It's not, come on now, the Turks. The reason why Drew Ali said they're the chief protectors is because they have been given this information and they've been custodians of it. The ancient science from Kemet, which goes back further than Kemet. Babylon, Sumer, Atlantis, Lemuria, the mound builders, the South America, Central America. That civilization predates Egypt. The Europeans honored Egypt as being the first civilization. That's where they learned from. So they had one of these so-called Europeans discover the Sumerian tablets in the 1800s. They knew about that all along. They just didn't tell our black asses. Islam?
Islam.
So the gym, you know how you said, I mean, like you can be exalted in a certain time, the gym is also, it gives you power too?
Well, all stones are electric. It's like the human body. So, you know, certain stones give off certain energy. If you're trying to conjure the energy of that stone, then you want to have that stone in your presence for, you know, whatever energy it is you're trying to conjure.
So
There's
each
multiple
stone-
stones. There's multiple stones. There's more than 12. There's multiple of them. I mean, just think of the earth. Just think of a rock when you go outside. That rock is a representation of the stone that has an energy associated with it.
But you also have one with your sign.
Absolutely.
And those are the ones that are more so, I guess, more energy.
Not necessarily, because you are that sign already. You don't really need that. You need the 3 that you miss. Or whatever, like let's say, boom, whatever, like let's say the moon, right? What's the gem associated with the moon?
It's the agate.
The agate?
I mean, no, it's the moon. It's the
Pearl.
pearl.
What is it, the pearl? All right, so let's say you needed to invoke the energy of emotions. You would use that stone for that purpose because that's the energies it gives off.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Like Mercury
Yes.
is a jet, I mean a gate.
The correlation to the stone is the same energy given off by the planet and the sun. So you would use that, that's what stones are used for. They're used to extract energy or to, see this is going to be in next week's class when we start dealing with magic and astrology. Because like I said earlier, we all need to be magi, we all need to be magicians. Because you go in front of that judge, that magistrate, he is a magi. That's why his title is magistrate. You understand? You got to know the principles that he's dealing with, alone from knowing law. He ain't just some old man up there just lip professor. He is adept. He's a true adept. He know the science of your ancient forefathers. He know your ancient forefathers' history. And he know law. Whether it's constitutional or statutory, he knows it all. That's why he got the position he got. He ain't just get it because somebody said, oh, you think fit for a good judge. No. He had to go through degrees of knowledge to get that. You understand? So you need to approach him in the same manner. This is why you got to know both sides. You can't just say, I'm just going to deal with law. I'm just going to deal with law. I'm not trying to worry about any of that other stuff. No. You got to know both sides. It's balance. If you only know one side, then what happens? It's like a seesaw. It's unbalanced. You need to balance everything in the universe. And the correlation to knowing law would be the origin of law, which is spirituality, which is the zodiac, which is what we're going over. So you got to know both to balance that scale out. But this is where laws are made from. They're made based and rooted off this will. These signs, these energies. They even make national decisions based and rooted on planetary alignments. We don't know that because we don't know nothing about no planetary alignments. We know about Jeezy though. We know about Weezy though. And them hoes. 2 Chainz and who else out there now? What's that dude's name? Half a brick, quarter brick, whole brick. Hey!
Juice Man.
Juice Man. We know about him.
Juice Man.
Juice. We know more about that than we know about where the planets is at right now. It's important to know. Because that's what causes everything to take place that you see. It's a scientific fact that during a full moon, traffic jams are at a high. Why? Raises the tides. If it can raise the tides in the ocean, your body is 75% water. What you think it's doing to your body? If it has an effect on the ocean, that's great. And your body's 75% water. So when somebody say astrology is BS, they don't believe in it, you tell that person, if it's a female, look at the moon the next time she's on a cycle. And then look at it again next month, the next time she's on a cycle. That's the science of astrology. If she don't believe in that, then she might as well, I don't know. She might as well call up whoever it is that she believes in and then tell them to explain her period and its correlation to the moon. Can't be explained dealing with dogmatic systems of religion. Although those who run the dogmatic systems of religion know the science, they are bound by oath and obligation not to tell you under fraternal orders called Freemasonry, which I am part and parcel to, but not theirs. I deal with the organic form of Freemasonry. The more scientific, more so the typical science itself is a Masonic lodge. It's a civic organization. It was established as a civic organization. It only took on the attributes of a religious organization to share the protections of the Second Amendment, because they kept continuously trying to counteract what Noble Raleigh was doing. And what he was doing was trying to bring us back into the consciousness of God. The consciousness that the land here belongs to us and we need to take it back by law, by heritage. Oh no, they can't have that. It's their livelihood. Let's not know who we are. So they continue to make various different acts and moves in law and government, astrologically decided, of course, to counteract what he was doing. And so in 1928, when he was established the movement as a religious corporation, you have a lot of COINTELPRO members, after he passed on, that only deal with the religious side of what he came to do. They don't never want to get into anything past or before 1928, because that was all civic in nature, which is why we're here as the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. We're here to bring this back into the civics. We're here to start multiple organizations, multiple businesses, and growth and development, so we can do what the Jews in Lakewood is doing. Because it don't make no sense what they're doing. I mean, it make all the sense in the world. What they doing is what we should have been doing in like 1930. They own the whole land. Their temples is big, packed, flooded. They ain't arguing over who really following Moses. None of that. They got schools. They got their own ambulance, their own police force. They really, truly living the nation life. While we sitting there fighting and arguing over who is really following Noble Raleigh, etc. That's not what it is. Islam.
Islam.
All right, let's get to Jupiter. Lord, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Versatile, quick to understand, abrupt, accurate, clarity, firm, optimistic, jovial, irresponsible, particularly with money. Purpose for understanding the facts, seek freedom, distill responsibility, money, flexibility, good humor, to be believed, to see the bridge side. Thighs and flared hips. Color is purple. cell salt, silicon. The metal, the alchemy for that is 10.